Hello and welcome to your Macon-Bibb Beat. It's your one-stop shop for all of your Macon-Bibb County news. I'm Frank Malloy. Each week we take you through what's happening in your neighborhood, from North Macon to South Bibb and, of course, everywhere in between. We begin with continuing coverage on changes coming to Bibb County's overcrowded jail. 2 weeks ago, Mayor Miller announced 6 initiatives through the Macon Violence Prevention Program. They include a Justice and Wellness Task Force, an inmate audit, and planning for a jail expansion. At least 55 inmates have been released since the program started. Maggie Fitzgerald tells us more.
This initiative is kind of going above and beyond the normal release process.
2 weeks in and 2 more to go as county leaders take strides to tackle overcrowding in the Bibb County Jail. A 30-day inmate audit now underway to identify which individuals inside are eligible to take part in their community-based alternative.
Those inmates who may be better suited in a monitoring situation not inside of the Bibb County Jail.
The Macon Justice Works ankle monitoring program is the county's plan to release nonviolent offenders from the jail as long as they're employed or enrolled in their reform programs. Tonight, the jail is down more than 70 inmates since first launching the MVP initiatives earlier this month. Both Mayor Miller and Sheriff Davis agree the majority of those released so far came as a result of the audit.
We have an individual who was arrested for burglary and who at one time had a $7,000 bond, but the judge reduced that bond down to $1.
That individual, he says, now at home because of a major change, reducing bonds for some inmates to as low as $1. He says the county solicitor, public defender, DA, and judges have re-examined individual inmates' cases and helped reduce the inmate count. Davis says more than 25 inmates were also sent to the state last week.
What you do is you look at it over the long haul, and I'm talking long haul by 6-7 months by the end of the year to see what type of impact.
Now, the goal is to release 150 nonviolent inmates as that audit continues. Mayor Miller also confirmed the county has received submissions from contractors interested in expanding the jail. The Macon community mourning after a well-known name in downtown Macon's food scene passed away. Mike Seekins was the owner of Famous Mike's. He died on June 25th. He was only 59. He was beloved for his big personality, his great food, and his deep love for his community. He was an ambassador for downtown Macon and constantly pushed its benefits. The restaurant closed for a few days while the family grieved, but Famous Mike's has since reopened. If you've seen more orange barrels and road crews out lately, you're probably not imagining it. Summer is prime time for road construction across the entire state. Ferdia Abrar explains why warmer weather brings a surge in road repairs and how the weather also helps crews work safer and more efficiently.
You may notice more road work popping up this time of year, and that's no coincidence. We see more road construction and maintenance during the warmer months because
temperatures are higher. There's extended daylight hours and the reduced likelihood of weather-related delays such as snow or freezing conditions, obviously, or even rain.
Even though Georgia's in hurricane season, Gina Snyder from the State Department of Transportation says winter weather actually causes more restrictions on road projects.
The asphalt doesn't cure as quickly as it does in warmer weather.
In summer, the longer days and dry conditions create prime working hours, making it safer and more efficient for crews.
It's much safer to do projects in the daylight hours. And then we don't have schools that are in session. So that really curtails a lot of the traffic around certain areas too, without the school traffic.
Less traffic, less disruption, and more time to get the job done. That's why you'll see crews out during the summer, from bridge work to resurfacing to vegetation maintenance.
Except for during like certain peak weekends like July 4th or maybe Memorial Day that kicks off the summer. Except during those weekends, we have lane restrictions anyway. But during most of the summer, we want less traffic on the roads, less drivers. That helps with our work zones as well. But mostly it's because of the warmer temps that we see a lot of construction going on.
GDOT says while summer is the busiest season for road work, crews are still at the mercy of Georgia weather and drivers. Storms or extreme heat can cause delays, but overall summer is the best time for projects to move along. There is one break when it comes to Central Georgia road projects. GDOT says that planned 6-month closure of the Spring Street exit from I-75 South has been pushed back. It was supposed to start at the end of June, but other work has popped up, so they're pushing that closure back until further notice. It's been a hot couple of weeks in Central Georgia. The heat can be more than just annoying. The Department of Public Health is warning Georgians about heat-related illnesses. In addition to children and the elderly, those working outside during extreme heat, especially when high temperatures are combined with intense physical activity, can be at risk. Michael Hawkinson urges people to recognize early signs of heat stroke and heat exhaustion.
A lot of things to look out for are things that people might not notice within themselves, which is why we do encourage people to have a kind of a buddy system, check up on your friend, say, hey, you doing well, man? We want their supervisor, follow up on these preventative measures, be able to take those breaks, be able to sit down and be empowered to tell them that I'm at my point where I'm going to have to rest for a little while. The heat is getting to me.
Summer's also a good time to check on any elderly neighbors you might have, young children, or anyone who doesn't have air conditioning. They really get hit the hardest. Macon does have some open cooling centers when it gets extremely hot. You can find those on 13WMAZ.com. Last week, Central Georgia received a unique sight when many people saw a meteor shoot across the sky. A viewer actually captured video on their front porch camera in Johns Creek, Georgia. It was one of several meteor sightings caught on camera. Many people were caught off guard by the midday sighting. Maggie Fitzgerald sat down with an astronomy professor to learn more about what people across the Southeast saw.
I live out in the country, so at night I see shooting stars, so at night it really doesn't shock me or anything.
It's a bird. It's a plane? Nope, it's a meteor. And for Josh Grant, it's something he wouldn't typically blink twice about. But seeing a fiery streak during the daytime, it caught him and hundreds of others a bit off guard.
Didn't know what it was. Based on the world today, you never know. So that's why I thought it was interesting, but maybe be a once-in-a-lifetime video if it was a meteorite during the day.
But a sighting like that isn't as rare as it may seem, according to Professor Matthew Marone. He teaches all things astronomy and physics at Mercer University.
Not unusual for these kind of things to happen. I wouldn't be panicked about it. I would be excited to go out there and actually see if I can find a piece of it. But I wouldn't be panicking about it.
According to emergency management crews, a piece of that meteor, about an inch long, was found in Henry County on Thursday. Marone has his own meteorite collection and explains when meteors come in very fast, the frictional heating can make them incredibly bright.
Any black is the fusion crust, where the outer part of the rock had been melted. And again, we saw this thing being very, very bright, right? So it's very hot and incandescent.
Pieces like this are often debris left behind from a comet. In this instance, Marone says, the Pons-Winnica comet, which creates an annual meteor shower during orbit this time of year.
The peak of that meteor shower is tomorrow, and it's the Boötid meteor shower. I think it'd be nice to go out and actually watch the meteor shower itself.
That was quite an interesting sight. Speaking of interesting sights, neighbors in South Bibb breathing a little easier after a large alligator was caught and removed from the Howson Avenue area. Firefighters, sheriff's deputies, and animal control all worked together to capture the 11-foot gator. Maggie Fitzgerald talked with responders and neighbors about why sightings like this have actually increased recently.
Today's gator sighting happened here along Houston Avenue, right near Charlotte Street, a very residential area. And Bibb County Animal Services tells us this is the 11th gator that they've captured and relocated just this month.
We fish a whole bunch, so we see gators every day on the river. But there ain't no body of water out here right now, so I wouldn't think there's no gators.
Max McCorvey is originally from Miami, Florida, and ever since he's lived here off of Houston Road, he didn't think he would wake up to the news of an alligator, 11 feet long, lurking in the woods near his home.
If there one, there's probably multiple, because you know they breed a lot, and they got a whole bunch of them when they breed.
That's exactly why Bibb County Animal Enforcement says gators are more prevalent right now. It's mainly due to their mating season, but they're typically found near bodies of water. This morning's discovery marking the 11th capture for animal enforcement crews over the past month. That's 9 more gator captures than they saw the entire last year.
We were able to get a rope on them and drag him out, let him wear himself out.
Some Engine 7 crew members did say they were nervous, but Lieutenant Joseph Petway is a former trapper from Florida, so it wasn't his first rodeo with a capture of this size.
Mullis and Rogers jumped on his back, held him down so they could get him taped up. Everything's really a part of our job description. We've had it a few times all throughout Macon. The best thing to do is just call somebody, don't mess with it. Definitely stay away from it.
And the animal enforcement team echoes that same advice. They say to call 911 to alert the appropriate agencies to handle a gator if you spot one. In Macon, Maggie Fitzgerald, 13, WMAZ News.
And animal enforcement told Maggie the gator was safely relocated to a remote and approved site away from people. Macon-Bibb's history runs deep with roots that stretch back over 2 centuries. It all started at Fort Hawkins. It's even the structure on the county seal. Fort Hawkins was built in the 1930s to replicate the original fort, but it's now cracking from age and erosion.
In some sections, that concrete has begun to spall off, and there's rebar in the concrete, and if moisture is getting in there, it's causing it to rust, and that's causing bits of it to fracture. It's called spalling.
Now, the fort's still active today, hosting tours and archaeological digs, but Historic Macon Foundation leaders say they need help to keep it up and running. The first thing on the agenda, an assessment on what it will take to restore the fort.
The Fort Hawkins Foundation, wants to make sure that it's safe, that nobody gets hurt by a falling piece of concrete, maintain the structural integrity of the building, right, so that it can continue to be there as a reminder of the history of the city and the people who built it.
And that is the final note in this week's edition of the Macon-Bibb Beat. If you have a Macon-Bibb County story you want us to share, email news@13wmaz.com, and make sure you come back every Wednesday to get all the news and stories that matter to you. Thanks for joining us for this week's Macon-Bibb Beat.